Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel, Dream of Crafts. My name's Deanna and today we are going to start the tutorial for my Florida Vacation mini album. I am going to be using Cartabella Summer Splash paper collection. It's an older paper collection. I just happen to have two 12 by 12 sheets of this and I really liked it. So I thought I want to use that. Um, and, but I only had two sheets. So I thought instead of mixing and matching and trying to pull together enough, because I have other beachy type themed papers. So I went to one of my favorite sites. It's called Snap Click Supply Company. And they have digital downloads of Cartabella papers. I don't know if they have all the papers, but they happen to have the summer splash that I was looking for so that I could print out my own. Now, I don't have a 12 by 12 printer, but I can print it on 8.5 by 11. And I prefer to print on, it's American Craft cardstock. And it's called heavyweight, but it's not really heavy. And it's textured, so it makes a real nice paper to print on because I like that texture feel. And this is also kind of a textury, heavy paper, the original. So, and I get the 8.5 by 11. I find it at Joann's online. They don't sell it in the store, but I can purchase it online, have it shipped to my house. I watch for their sales, and then I buy the 8.5 by 11. You can use whatever cardstock you want to print on. That's just what I like to print on. And so this is going to be a 6 tunnels mini album, so it will have 12 pages. And I'm going to try to get through all 6 of these tunnels today. Now we're going to do the first half and the second half are just going to be flipped from each other. So the centers will be matching, and then from there we'll go back where, one will be 6, 2 will be 5, you know what I'm saying? So we're just going to flip them, so it'll be an easy build because we'll just be duplicating stuff and maybe flipping if there's a flip or something that we need to face in a different direction, we will do that. But other than that, it's going to be a pretty basic album. Now I'm not going to build the binder or the cover yet. I'm going to wait until see how thick this ends up. Once I'm all done with my 6 pages, then we'll go ahead and build the cover, because I don't know what size exactly I'm going to need. I mean, I have a general idea, but I don't know the thickness I'm going to need. So we will be building, I pre-built all 5 tunnels, and we're going to build one together. This, I used 12 by 12 because I did not have any 8.5 by 11. This book is geared mostly, I would say 99% of it's geared towards 8.5 by 11 papers. I did not have 8.5 by 11s. I was out. My order is in for them, but I did use the same cardstock in 12 by 12. So I have quite a few scraps here that you would not have using using the 11.5 by 8, or I mean the 11 by 8.5, I'm sorry. So your standard size. So I do have lots of scraps, but I'm going to use those for tags and things as much as I can. What I don't use, they'll go in my scrap box, and I use them to cut flowers and other elements of my die cuts. So I did have quite a bit of scraps from my white because I did use 12 by 12. Now, that being said, that you can use 8.5 by 11, there's going to be a section, page 2, second page, second side, and then the matching one. You're going to need to use 12 by 12 cardstock, or I'll make a suggestion when we get to that point of how you can do it with 8.5 by 11. But there's going to be a small section where you will need 12 by 12 to do exactly like I am, but there is a way to use the 8.5 by 11 and still get exactly what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get started. So for your tunnels, you're going to cut 6 pieces at 8.5 by 10 inches high. And then you're also going to cut 6 pieces 8.5 wide by 11 inches high. And you're going to score on your 11-inch edge at a 1/2 inch and 10.5. I like to flip and score at a 1/2 inch. So I score 1/2 inch, turn, and then score 1/2 inch again. Okay. And then you're going to burnish those real nice. And again, you need 6 of these total. So, and then you can use tape or glue, whatever you prefer, whatever you're comfortable with. I just filled my glue bottle and it just squidgied at me here. So let me get the excess there. There we go. I don't want that all over. All right, so I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to line it up on my bottom corner there. Make sure that my bottom edge is lined up. Bring it up here. Slide it. Whatever method you like to use. I'm a glue person and I do use some tapes, but I primarily use glue. I like that it gives me a tiny bit of time. I use art glitter glue for most part, and it does grab pretty quick, but it typically leaves you enough time to slide for a second or two if you need to. Oh yeah, this is a full bottle. Okay. Then we're going to take this and we're going to line up our bottom half over here. Make sure that we're good. And then on this side, make sure we're lined up pretty good there. Okay. And then I like to kind of open my tunnel up to make sure that it's not gluing itself down inside. Good press on that there. I see a little gap in here, which I typically don't have. So I'm just going to get a little extra glue in that gap. Maybe when I pulled it up to move it, I might have. Yeah, that sometimes happens. There we go. All right. So that is our tunnel. So you want to create 6 of those. Put this back on. We're going to start. I hope this bottle doesn't give me a hard time. All right. Let me put this aside. We're going to start with page 1. So I've got it all stacked together here, and I tried to prep everything. I think I've got everything prepped, so hopefully we won't have to go back in and cut anything, but you never know. It is a video, and I do not go in and prep anything, so when I experience it with you, so then we can solve the problem together. This 2 pieces here are from one of my scraps. You will need to cut them from your thing, and I don't know exactly what size we're going to need, so we're going to set those aside a second. And we are going to start with our base page here. These are for the back side, so I'm going to move those out of my way. All right. For side 1-1, you're going to start with your tunnel. All right. And we are going to cut, I got my book here. So for page 1-1, you need to 1 piece at 8.5 wide by 11 inches high. That is this one. On this piece, you're going to score at 10 inches and 10 1/4. That gives you a 1/4 of an inch gusset. Okay, so again, it is 8.5 wide by 11 inches high. Score at your 10 and your 10 1/4 marks. That is our flip. So we can go ahead and attach that. In order for me to do that, I'm going to get my, and I left an extra little wide gusset here, or an extra wide glue down part here, just so it had a little extra holding power. So we'll go ahead and glue that down. I'm going to get to, I don't want to go too close to that edge, but I want to get enough glue on there so it adheres. All right. And we're going to line that right up at the top. Now, some of my pieces that I cut, you'll notice I cut a little bit smaller than the length and the width. Just makes sometimes easier for the book to flip and stuff. So that is our first flip there. There we go. So I'm going to put that gusset back on where it's supposed to be. As you see, we have just a little edge there to make it easier for us to flip. Just about, oh, I want to say about 1/8 of an inch or so. All right, so we're going to go ahead and flip that up. And then our next piece we're going to cut is number 2. You're going to cut one at 8 3/8 wide by 9 7/8 high. You do not score this at all. This is going to hold our waterfall. Let's go ahead and set our tunnel aside. You will need an additional 8 pieces that are 6 1/2 wide by 5 inches high. On your 5-inch side, you're going to score them at 1/2 inch. This is our waterfall. So we are going to build these, but I want to kind of get an idea of where I'm at here. So I like to start with the top. I suppose I could start with the bottom, but I kind of like to start with the top. But I want to line up together. So we're just I'm going to stack them to get an idea of how far I want to go down so I can line them up. They're not lining up very good for me there. There we go. I'm just going to do it this way. So right now, just to get an idea. It doesn't have to be exact, but I want to know about where I'm going to end up. You can do less if you want and have a bigger area for embellishments or something like that. All right. So there we go. So this would be under, and I want it kind of I want to leave a heading up here so I can put something on there. So we are going to start at about, let's do 1 1/2 inches. So we're going to go down 1 1/2 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark this. And you know what? I think I might want to cover this first. I do. I think we're going to cover this first because these are going to go on top of it and we don't want to try to have to piece. So I do have some printed out. So let me grab a piece. Maybe. Here, let's use this. Okay, this is one of the 2 pieces I had for the beginning. So let's go ahead and use this piece. And like I said, sometimes this happens. You think you got everything and then all of a sudden something pops up. All right. So we have 8 3/8 by 9 7/8. So let's go ahead and get this ready. So 8 3/8 wide take this tab off there. All right. So 8 3/8 wide, and then we want a little edge. So I'm going to do 8 1/4 wide. I kind of like this. I like that swimming up there. Okay. All right. By 9 7/8. So we go to 9 7/8 and then come back 1/8 of an inch. So that's 9 3/4. Do a test fit here. About that noise. The computer just decided to want to tell me about an update. All right, so we'll have about a 1/16 of an inch edge there. I think that'll look nice under there. You'll be able to see parts of it. Okay. So I think for inking, I think I'm going to use find it. Peacock. I'm not seeing it. There it is. It's called Peacock Feathers. It's a distress ink from Ranger. And I think because of the theme that I like, I want to use that. So let's go ahead and you don't have to smudge your edges, but you can. Now the one thing I did notice, and it's probably just the way my printer is set up. When I printed, the colors that I printed were slightly different than these. But I'm not too worried about it because I only had 2 sheets, this one and the one with the flamingos. That's the only 2 sheets I had. So I wasn't too worried about me printing up all the other ones and having them be a little different. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. But I decided I like this because even though it was kind of cartoonish, it wasn't like little kids cartoonish. So I thought it kind of had like a vintagey feel to it. So I kind of liked that. So, and because when I do take my trip later on this year, then my grandkids, some of them are going to be with me. So it will be kind of a nice album to use for them too. All right. So there we go. So now I'm going to come down 1.5 inches. And with this ruler, I can see through it. So I can line my 1.5 inch mark right at the top of my white there. And I'm going to just lightly draw so I can erase later. I can see it. And yep, there you can see it too. So that'll give me a start point. And then from side to side, I'm just going to eyeball it. All right. Now I might just build, we'll see how it goes here. I might just build half of it with you and then build the other half off to the side, just because of time, but we'll see how we do. And maybe I want to slide that a little bit just to try to make it look about even. There we go. All right, perfect. There we go. Put that up. And you can, if you don't want to do 8 of these, you can do less. I just thought 8 was a nice amount to fill the page. I'm going to come right up to that other one. Drop this down to make sure they're lined up. Pretty good. There we go. And then press it down. And kind of goes, actually the cutting for this was not bad. You can hear that textured cardstock. It's kind of noisy, isn't it? It actually went really good. And I didn't do a full one. So we're actually doing this together. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like when we're done, because I just got it cut. I did not put them together. So I had a couple things I put together because I wanted to make sure that they worked like I wanted them to, but we will still be doing the other one that coordinates with it together. So but the things that I thought would be, that I might run into problems with, I did try to take care of that just to make sure. But, you know, it's, like I said, it's a video and we might run into problems. It's not live, but it's kind of like live because I don't alter my videos. And I am not sure what kind of decoration, if any, I'm going to put on these flaps. I'm sure for at least the top part, I will definitely, but I will show you when we get done that you're not going to have a lot of thing around. Now, if you want, you've got double-sided cardstock, you can just use that for your flips here. That way you don't have to extra cut it. The problem I don't like with adding extra paper to it, my cardstock, is that it gets so heavy and thick and then you add a picture on it. So that's where I run into a problem with adding too much paper. So, and I did think about printing double-sided, because even with these decorative pieces like this that are more detailed, I can flip it the other way and have it match perfect when I lift up. Whereas if you have this and you flip it, these would be upside down. Me printing my own, I can flip this and have this already flipped so that when it comes up, my element is facing the right direction. So that is one advantage of printing your own. All right, so there we go. But I went with this. All right, perfect. Now we're going to have this little band here, and this was one of my scraps, but if you need it, you can cut it any width you want. I left it at 12 inches long, and it was 2 1/8 wide. I did round the corners on this. I scored this on my 12-inch side at 5 1/2 and 5 3/4, and my short piece will be the one that flips up. This piece is going to get glued down under there. Okay, so we're just going to glue that right down in there. And I want it extra long so I know that it's going to hold in there good. And it's just a scrap piece for me. So, and I'm sure you'll have scrap pieces at least this size. I mean, you won't have 12 inches long if you use the other, but you will have long enough straps. So let's see, this is 8. So 2, 4, 6. So we need 4 3/16. That's our center. Just to get an idea, I'm going to line up my bottom here. And I wanted that gusset. That's close enough. All right, perfect. Wanted a nice gusset to reach over those things there, like so. Like so. I was thinking about doing a belly band on that, but I don't think I'm going to need a belly band. Do you want to do belly band? All right, we can still do a belly band just to hold it good. Okay. All right. Okay. So that is this. So this is going to go here, and we're going to do large magnets to hold this in place. So we can pull this off and still have decorative pieces under here. All right, so we're going to need some magnets. So I'm going to go with, for the back, I'm going to go with some larger magnets because I want to make sure that they're holding. I want to make them bigger. Sometimes if you're not sure, if you take a few pieces of paper and you stack them together, so that is 4, and let me see if my magnet connects with that now. Does that connect? Yeah, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper, and it's connecting. I do have some bigger, heavier ones. Now, if you only have smaller magnets, you can use more of them just to make sure that it's holding. I happen to have some bigger ones here. These ones I got from eBay. So let's go ahead and grab some more. And they separate them with a piece of plastic so that they don't break and you can slide them apart good. Yeah, you heard that click, you know that it's good. Okay. There's 2 more pieces. 2 more pieces. That's holding good. Okay, so we're going to go with those. And like I said, if you have magnets that aren't as strong as those, you can always use more magnets. Some double-sided tape here. There we go. So we're going to put double-sided tape. Double-sided tape. I'm just getting a guesstimate. I'm not being exact. I'm going to put more tape on this side. Bring in our magnet. Put a magnet here. Oopsie. There we go. All right. So now we're going to line this up with our book. And there's our gusset. Now this book is just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to line it up with the bottom and kind of stay away from my top there. It's going to be about 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to give myself about 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Make sure. Yep. Okay. 1/16 of an inch on each side. Drop the paper down to the bottom edge there. That'll keep me away from that gusset. Let me give this a good push here. Let's see what we got. One stuck. But it's off. Okay. So we're going to try that again. Okay. Let's try that again. Down to the bottom edge. 1/16 of an inch. Okay. There's my magnet right there. Carefully slide up. There's my other magnet. Okay. Now I'm going to slide this so it comes off easier. Okay, let's see. There, it lines up perfect. All right. Let's give these an extra little push here. All right. I'm going to add another little piece of tape across there just to hold that down until we get our paper on there. Just like that. There we go. That one's more centered, so I think that one will stay. All right. So that's that. And now we need a magnet here, but it's not going to have to be as heavy. So let me look at my sample here a second. I do have This idea was in my recipe album that I made, and I want to see if I use the belly band too. Oh, that's what I did. Okay, that's what I did. This is going to hold this down. I'm like, I know I needed it. So this goes here to hold that down. And then this gets a belly band to hold this down. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. So this can actually, well, I'm going to leave it on there. This could have been, this band here could have been put right on here. And you know what? I might do that. I might recreate another band and put it on there. I can peel this up far enough. I'm going to get rid of that and put the band down on the other side. This isn't going to hurt anything because this is going to get covered with paper. So, all right. So we'll fix that up. And I'm going to glue my band down on this instead. Yes, that's what we're going to do. Okay. So let's grab another piece because I do have the scraps. Let's grab another piece. And we're going to score this. All right. Sew the belt. Size was that? Okay, so this was 12 by 2 1/8. This is like 2 1/8, so perfect. Put it on the 12-inch edge, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. There we go. On my short edge, I'm going to do round my corners. You don't have to round your corners, or you can use whatever punch you want. There we go. All right, perfect. So there. Or there. I'm going to actually go here if I can get this up. Let me pull this up. Okay. Here we go. Let's try again. So glue it to your tunnel page and not to your other page because that's going to get the other thing. So I'm just going to eyeball this. Drop my second score mark down at the bottom there. There we go. Right. Okay. Bring this back in. Okay, just like that. That top one's going to line up. We're just going to make sure our bottom edges looks good. Come back into that right there. Oopsie, a little tape on my fingers. Okay, I'm going to slide this off to the side, like so. All right, it is there. All right. That way, it's not being impeded by an extra layer of paper. So that goes there. This will come down. That will get a magnet there. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that won't need as heavy as one, so we'll go with these. Just like that. It's trying to magnetize itself to the one underneath. So we'll flip you. Come on. It's going to want to do that really bad because that is a powerful magnet there. So we're going to put some tape down here. Just like that. That will hold that. And you go on top of there. And I want that. I like to stay about, you know, a little bit from the top here. So if you want to start here first, you can. My circle on there was just a guesstimate on where to put the magnet. Ooh, that's plenty wide. I gotta take some of this off of here because it's not, this isn't that wide. So when you're putting on your magnet, if you decide to use one of these, put your magnet on this first, on the back side of this first, so you know that you're going to line up perfect. I've got my edge here right the way I want it, like that. Slide it off. All right. So I'm just put my magnet there. There we go. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and make the belly band for this. I'm going to slide this off. Put it out of our way a second. Now I just kept two 12-inch pieces because I didn't know where we were going to have to match them up. So these are from my scraps, but to give you an idea, these were 3.5 inches wide. So you can go wider, you can go narrower, whatever you would like to do. So I'm going to take my first piece and I'm just going to tip this over and kind of center it there like that. And I don't want it really tight up against there because I want it to slide. So I'm just going to crease that. And then I'm going to mark. I actually want to do that on my, I'm going to mark about a 1/16 of an inch low there. Here. Maybe a little bit, maybe an eighth of an inch. Okay. So I'm going to go to my scoreboard here, and then I'm going to try to mark on those lines. So on this 12-inch one, find my, on the 12-inch length for this one, I'm going to score at 1 inch, and looks like about 1 inch there too. So scored 1 inch on each edge there. Okay. And let's see how that adjusts on there. Like I said, I don't want it really tight. That looks pretty good. So that means that if I cut this at 10 inches, the height of this, I should be good. So we'll go ahead and cut that at 10 inches. And we should be good. All right. So we'll just glue that on there and that on there. And then hopefully it'll slide on. Just the way we need it. And I don't mind that extra, having a whole inch to attach this together with, because it just gives it more strength. Just gives it a little more strength. And the nice thing about this, the waterfall flips, is you get a lot of pictures in a small amount of real estate. Okay, get that there. And I want to make sure that my tunnel's not glued together. We'll take this, we could slide it over there, just like that. Yeah, that's nice. It's not so tight, but it's tight enough that I'll hold that on there. All right, let's go ahead and sit this back in our book here. All right, There we go. That closes just like that. So that's page 1 of 1. On page 1, 2, we are going to cut, find 1, 2. What did I do with my pieces? All right here. All right. So this piece here, we have one piece that is 8 3/8 wide by 10 3/8 high. You're going to score on your 10 3/8 side at, oops, this way, at a 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch. Gives us a 1/4 inch or a 1/8 inch gusset there. This is going to get glued down here. As you can see, you're going to have a nice little lip there to work with. So I'm going to try to keep these videos down to about an hour, maybe a little over an hour, so they're not too lengthy, so you have time enough to watch them. All right, so we're going to kind of center this. And again, I've got my 1/2 inch edge folded down there. So I'm not gluing down my gusset. There we go. Is that crooked? Okay. All right. So that is our flip. So I don't know how far we'll get. For sure, we'll get this page 1 done. All right. Now our next pieces you're going to need 2 that are cut 4 7/8 wide by 9 7/8 high. You're going to score on your 1/2 inch and on your 5/8 inch again. This is going to get glued right down to your one piece on your left side, one piece on your right side. And again, I've got my 1/2 inch folded down so that I'm not interfering with that gusset. And I like to leave gussets on my pages if I can, because I don't want to not have enough room. Okay, so I'm going to come down to my bottom left-hand corner here. I'm going to go in here a little bit, so make this just a little bit smaller for you. Get my mouse to work with me here. There we go, so you can see better. So I'm coming down to my bottom left-hand corner, line up at the bottom and on the side there. Perfect. Give that a good squeegee. And why I do that is I want to stay away from that gusset at the top. So that's why I want to line up my bottom. It is cut a little smaller, and I want to make sure I keep that distance. Now we can bring our gusset back up there a little bit carefully. There we go. Once we start putting stuff in there, it'll fill itself out. Again, get my 1/2 inch ready there. Sorry about that scratchy noise. That's because it's textured cardstock. It's a nice textured cardstock, kind of heavy textured. All right, so we're going to come down to the bottom right-hand corner here. Line that up along the bottom edge. And why are you? And then line our side up there, just like that. Bring our gusset back here. Give that a score. This one. All right. Once I stand up, these should meet just about perfect there. There we go. Okay. Now, when you open these up, you're going to have 2 pieces that are cut at 4 1/4 wide by 5 inches high. Okay. Yep. And on your 4 1/4 side, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch. You're going to affix this facing in right here, just like that. And you can put them anywhere along the edge you want. I think I'm going to put mine kind of down at the bottom. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add magnets to these yet. I'm going to kind of wait to see what's going on with the decorating and leave it at that. So I'm lining up at the bottom edge there and on my outside edge. There we go. Perfect. So I didn't glue it down. And we're going to open this one and glue that on this side. But we want to line these up on this edge, or, you know, if you don't want to put it in, you don't have to put it in. That's a nice thing about mini home. But I thought this might be a good spot to put one of the element tags and all right. There we go. So that opens. So this opens and then these open. Okay. Now we're going to have a pocket. So you're going to, this was a scrap, but again, I'm going to give you the measurements because if you're using 8.5 by 11, you're going to have different cuts. So 3.5 high by 9.5 wide. And it's going to be just a nice little pocket down at the bottom here. And it's just a little bit narrower so that I think I scored. Oh, I did. That's just right. Okay. So we're going to center that on there. Thought I scored a little bit further in, but I didn't. And it looks like it's fitting in there good. So, and a bead of glue down at the bottom to seal up that pocket. Whoops. Very good there. All right. So I'm going to center this. Watching my gussets there. It should fit right in between those two other gussets. Right down at the bottom edge. There we go. And hopefully. Go. Perfect. So now I might add a tie in here or a different element, but I think that will work. Perfect. All right. So that is page 1112. They're done. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started on page 2 because we're only at about 50 minutes right now. All right. Page 2. All right. Get all these off of there. This is the back half. So there we go. Set those up there. All right. Page 2. We're going to start with our tunnel. And it's obvious for these because the long goes up and down. But if you got a square one, make sure that you always check to make sure your tunnel's facing the right direction. We are going to do what I call my scrap queen flip because that's where I seen how to do this. Her video has a different size than this one, but it's the same concept. So for your first piece, you're going to need one cut at 9.5 wide. Well, that's not right. 4 inches. No. No. Let me look at my directions here. 8 high by 9.5 wide. Why I wrote, for some reason I have 4 inches written on there. All right. So again, it is 9.5 wide by 8 inches high. You're going to score a 1/2 inch on each edge. And again, I score 1/2 inch, flip, and score a 1/2 inch. This is going to get glued directly to your tunnel. And this is going to be a very big pocket. All right. So this goes together pretty good. So Gonna put a bead of glue down at the bottom edge there. These are one of my favorite little, this is like one of my favorite little ones to do because they look so cute and they hold quite a bit. So I'm going to light it down on my bottom side again. That. See a little glue coming out there. Oops. It's down. All right. I'm going to go in there with my ruler, if I can find my ruler, just to make sure that my edges aren't glued down. I'm going to make sure that I didn't glue them down. Give that bottom edge a, there we go. All right. Your next piece that goes on top of that is 6 inches high by 9.5 inches wide. Again, you're going to score a 1/2 inch on each edge. That gets glued down right on top of this, and it is another pocket. Okay. Bead of glue down at the bottom there. Seal that shut. Okay. Glue all over my thing. Line up my bottom left-hand corner and bottom edge. Like that. So that's 2 good-sized pockets. Again, I'm going to come in with my ruler. And I'm going to slide it in there. Make sure that I didn't glue my pocket shut. There we go. Sometimes your glue squeezes out. So that's your second pocket. Now you need 2 pieces cut at 6 inches high, 6 inches high by 9.5 wide. You are going to score at a 1/2 inch, 4 3/4, and then at 9 inches. And you're going to create like a W, okay? So this will face, your hinges will face up and your other thing. So it kind of looks just like a W, okay? You need 2 of those, exactly the same. You're going to come in here, and I'm just going to show you before I glue it down. So you're going to come in here and line this up and glue these down to the center. All right, so you're just going to put glue on one side right now. Okay, not both sides, just one side. I'm going to come and line this up at the 6 inches tall, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it down. Okay, so your next one, you're going to come in here and you're going to butt that right up against there. So you're going to glue just one side again. Perfect. Make sure I don't have glue under there. I'm going to come in here and butt that up against there. Make sure my top and bottom are lined up. And give that a good press. There we go. All right. Your next piece is 6 inches high by 8.5 inches wide. That's going to get glued right on top of those other 2 things. So now we're going to come in and we're going to put our glue on this one and on this, whoops, not underneath there, and on this one. Make sure we got enough there. Okay. So I'm going to line this up on my side and my bottom, and come in and press right on that center, just like that. Nice. Okay. So now what you have is, I'm going to do it gently because it's just still drying. So you'll have a flip this way and a flip that way. Okay. All right. And your last piece for this is, this was 4 inches high by 9.5 wide, and it's another pocket. So that's going to go right down there. Like I said, this is Scrap Queen. She said she got it from somebody else, but she didn't say where. So I have no idea, but that is where I seen it first. So I can't tell you if somebody else or who else did it that she got it from. I honestly don't know. I'm not trying to take anybody's original idea. I just can only tell you where I seen it first, okay? And mine is a different size, but the same concept. Again, we're going to line up that corner, bottom, side. There we go. Perfect. All right. There we go. All right. So you have 1 pocket, 2 pocket, 3 pockets, and a flip to the left, and another flip. Whoops, what we got here? There we go. And another flip. That's why you always check to make sure you're glued in. Now again, for decorating purposes, I'm not quite sure. And then a magnetic closure or something. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there. That is side 2-1. What do we do for time? Oh, we're still under an hour. Okay. Side 2-2. Okay. So you need to cut. So this is going to be let me put my glue in. I'll flip out page. So this is you're going to be able to flip it one at a time. This is the one I glued together just to make sure I had it right. That way. Or you can go one at a time this way. There is gussets created in there, and I will show you how I did that. And then you can also open it up all the way this way or all the way that way. So I will tell you how I got the gussets. I'll show you on this scoreboard here. And these will be the same as the other one we're going to do. So this one they all have a matching page. Okay. So you need to cut 2 pieces. Actually, you need to cut 4 pieces, 9 7/8 inches high by 9 inches wide. Okay. So 9 7/8 high. Nine 7/8 high by 9 inches wide. On your 9-inch side, you're going to score, and we'll do it together. I'm going to flip it over because I scored on this side. Okay. You're going to score at a 1/2 inch, and you're going to score at, let me double check. Okay, I did it this way. This is how I did it. Okay. So score at 4 1/4, and then score at 8 1/2. Okay. On your 9-inch side, score at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2. I then took it, and I have little marks on my board, but you can do however. I took my 4 1/4 score mark, and I centered that like over this little thing here. So say at my 6-inch thing. I then came in, once that was centered, and I could see it was centered on the bottom and the top here, I came in and I scored. Let me make sure I got that right. All right. go in between. That's what I did. All right, so 4 1/4. So then I went halfway over, and you can do it this way too. So let's leave it in the 4 1/4 spot. Shift over so that you're in between. So like at a 16th. So you'd be kind of have your score line at, would be 2, 4, at 5/16. Okay, there's no slot there. So then you're going to come back in and score at 4 1/4 again, and then score at 4 3/8. Okay, so let's do that again. Your original score is 4 1/4. Take your 4 1/4 score line, shift it over a 16th of an inch. Then score again at 4 1/4 and at 4 3/8. That gives you a nice little gusset. It's not too big, but it keeps this all centered. So instead of leaving it there and scoring that 1/8 of an inch and not having the size you need, because it would shorten this, then you keep the same distance on each side. Okay, so let's do one more. All right, coming in, got my paper on the 9-inch edge. I score at 4 1/4 and I score at 8 1/2. I shift my paper 1/16 of an inch, so my score line is right in between the 1/4 inch and the 3/8 inch. I score again at 4 1/4 and I score at 3 1/8. Okay, so you need 2 of those that size. You're actually going to need 4 because you're going to do a left side and a right. So cut 4 pieces at 9 7/8 by 9 inches wide. Score at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2, and then split the difference for your next 2 score lines. So these got to go. Get this out of my way now for a second. Bring our paper back in here. All right, make sure I didn't tip it upside down or anything. This piece here, this is the one that's all put together. This is going to get glued on our right-hand side. Okay. Our other one, we want to glue it to the left-hand side. So we got to make sure we arrange this so that it gets glued on the left-hand side. All right. So this is going to be left. Your next piece comes in and that gets glued like that. And then you have one more. All right. So then you need 2 pieces cut at 9 7/8 high by 4 7/8 wide. You are going to score that at 4 1/4 and repeat to get your same gusset. So cut at 4 1/4, slide that over 1/16 of an inch, score at 4 1/4 again, and 4 3/8. Okay, same as we did with the longer ones, only it's just short. All right, so now we're going to glue those together, making sure that we have them in the right order. We know this flap here, this 1/2 inch, has to be glued down on our left-hand side. We bring our next one in, and we're going to attach this left-hand 1/2 inch to this one right here. Okay. So let me get this here. All right. Make sure, just like that. Check and double check, because once it's glued on there, it might be the wrong direction. That would not be fun, would it? Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn this. I'm actually going to go just like that so it's nice and flat. Bring my edge in there. Make sure I'm lined up along that bottom edge. Along this edge here, my top lines up. There we go. Okay. All right. So there we go. That's good. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to bring this edge down flat. We're going to Make sure our gusset's not in the way. We want just that 1/2 inch edge, and we're going to glue that down to that one. This gives you, in a small area again, a lot of spots for pictures and stuff. So, all right. So again, my gusset is out of the way. I've got just my 1/2 inch edge. I'm coming up to that left-hand side there, the bottom edge, and I'm pulling that right down, just like that. Okay, just like that. So that opens up, looks good, looks good. All right, there's our, now once those gussets are lined up and they stand up, then this should be all looking good. And that just allows for us to be able to add decorative cardstock in there and still have room for our pictures. All right. So we have a left side and a right side. Okay. So let's get our line here. Get that excess out of our way so we're able to see nice and clear. Again, I'm going to take a peek under here, make sure I've got that face in the right direction. It's going to be hard if I don't. I guess with this it wouldn't matter too much, but it's just a good habit. Line that up with that. That's a little bit smaller than our 10-inch page, so you're going to kind of just have like a 1/16 of an inch there. There we go. Just like that. All right. Okay, let me double check this. Perfect. So again, you can move these one at a time this direction, move them one at a time this direction, or pull it out this way, or pull it out that way. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with this side. Should line up pretty good there. Let's get you over there a little bit. Okay. Get these out of my way. Get my 1/2 inch edge there. Okay. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So get our glue on our 1/2 inch edge. We'll bring that in to that edge there. It's going to be about a 1/16 of an inch from the bottom and from the top. Okay. Right out to the edge. Okay. Like I said, once your gussets are lined up right, they should fall into place. Okay. So you got that nice huge open spot, and we are going to add to this later on 2 magnets. 2 magnets on there. So let's go ahead and at least get those magnets on so we don't forget. And I think these kind will be all right. So we get 2 magnets here, and then what we're going to do is a chipboard piece to pull off there, and that will be our decorative element on there. And I'm just about 1 inch there, and kind of eyeballed to center. It's not exactly center, I don't think, but there we go. So our magnets are in. All right, and then we'll create a chipboard. So that was page 2-1. We have the flip this way, flip that way, 1, 2, 3 pockets. Page 2-1, we have our pull out. Okay, so that's our second one. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started on number 3. So 3, 1. All right. 3, 1 is, get this stuff out of the way here. That's all 3, 2. Okay. 3, 1. I got to find my tunnel. There we go. So this here is all part of 3, 2. We can set that aside. All right. 3, 1 is not too bad of a page. You're going to cut 2 pieces that are 7 5/8 wide by 10 inches high. You're going to score it a 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. Okay. Now when I turn these back, I like to do the widest part first. It seems to make it easier for me to do that second little fold for my other score line. That's just my preference. That is crooked. Tell by looking at it, it's crooked. All right. So that's one side. Let's do the other side. There we go. That's our 5/8. And then get our 1/2 of an inch there. I love Florida and I can't wait to go. We've got quite a few months yet before we go, but I wanted to get this done. And then when it's all done, or when I get back from my trip and I put my pictures in, I'll come back in again and show you it with the pictures and any other decorative elements that I decided to do. So one of these is going to get glued to your left side and one to your right side. Okay. So I've got my 1/2 inch folded out here so that my gusset's not in my way. And again, the gusset is to give me enough room for stuffing whatever I need to stuff in here. I quite often will buy like extra postcards if we stop someplace special, or I'll put little pamphlets and stuff in my books. So I like to have plenty of room. I'm going to line up my corner there, my edge. And again, my gusset is not in my way. There we go. I'm getting kind of worried. My fingers are getting kind of glued up and I don't want to get dirty there. All right. So now we're going to come in and get that gusset ready here. There we go. I'm going to fold that back and it'll line up. It'll fall into place. Our other piece is going to get glued to this side. So we'll have flip flops on each side. Lots of area. Again, I want to get that gusset out of my way. I don't want to glue my gusset down. Just my 1/2 inch. I'm going to get some glue underneath there. Determined, aren't I? Run my finger into there. Get that glue out. All right. Okay. So we're going to line this one up with the bottom right hand corner. Make sure our bottom edge is good because this is the 10-inch height. And I want to make sure that that edge is right along there. A little bit of glue there, I see. Okay. Check it. Make sure it's good. That was. Get that gusset ready. Okay. Get the gusset put back over there like that. Over top, and then it will line back up. Okay. So we have a fold right, a fold left, and then I have 3 pockets. Now each of these is 4 3/8 high, and you can adjust them how you want. This is just the scraps I had, so that's what I used. 4 3/8 high by 9 1/2 wide. You're going to score them at a 1/2 inch. And actually, no, I think I scored them a little bit smaller. I did score them a little bit smaller because I wanted this to fit inside of those lines without coming over. So one is scored at 5/8 inch and the other one is scored at a 1/2 inch. So score 5/8, turn, score at a 1/2. So they're all the same. 5/8 inch, turn, score at a 1/2 on your 9.5 inch edge. That way they will fit right in here and stay nicely between our other lines we need so that they're not interfering. So this one, we are going to start from the top going down. So your top pocket's going to go all the way down to the bottom. Your middle one will go all the way down to the bottom and your other one will stay down. So we are going to go, I think I decided 1.5 inch. Let me see if I can see on here. Yes, 1.5 inch down. So I'm going to take my ruler, maybe, there it is, and I'm going to come on the top edge there at 1.5 inches, and I'm going to draw a line because that is where I want my top pocket to start. And the reason I'm starting at the top is because these are going to go over top of this one, okay? So we can go ahead and attach this pocket. Okay. All right. 1.5 inch down. They're going to be about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe slightly less than that on each side. So we are not going over top of those. Oh, you know what? Do not put glue on the bottom. Oh, it just dawned me. That pocket's supposed to stay open. So wipe that off. So don't put glue on the bottom edges. It's got to stay open. All right. All right, let's try again. I'm going to re-glue this here. Sorry about that. Here we are. Real life happenings. Okay. And you can glue it down, but then your pocket's going to be short. Okay. Let's try again. 1.5 down. Center that. Just like so. So just like so. All right. There we go. Okay. So now this should be open. Let's just double check. So make sure it's open, just like that. Okay. The next one, we're going to measure 1.5 inches down from here, from this pocket. It's kind of hard to see. There it is, there, there. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line here. All right. And that will get covered up with paper, so I'm not worried about it showing. Okay. Again, just these tabs. Put it along the bottom like we normally would for a pocket. There we go. See a little blue under there. All right. Center those on there. Line it up with our line. There we go. Okay. Turn it. Slide this in there. Make sure I didn't glue down my edges there. Okay. Our last one goes right down to the bottom. Okay. And we are going to glue that shut. Okay. So the bottom one does get closed off. All right. Okay. Just like so. Center it. End up at the bottom. Okay, I'll take this and I want to make sure that I didn't glue my sides down. There we go. All right. So here we go again. Flip right, flip left, pocket, pocket, pocket. Nice deep pockets. And we'll make tags later on. For page 3-2. All right. Now for this one, this was my cardstock that I had. So it's really heavy. So I thought I'm just going to use that as my flip instead of cutting a separate piece and decorating. This is good and heavy, so we're just going to use that. And the other side is going to be exactly the same. So for these were, let me say 6 inches. So I split the 6 inches. So I half of the paper here and half on the next page. Because this is our center page. So page 3-2 and 4-1 are going to be exactly the same. This one will flip this way, 4-1 will flip this way. So we'll finish this page and then we'll do the other ones in the next video. So this is scored at a 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. And we are going to glue that 1/2 inch edge inside of our tunnel instead of outside. That way it's secure. Well, you could glue it on the outside of it. Okay, but I'm going to glue it on the inside. So that's going to slide right inside my tunnel. Now this is 9 7/8 inches high by 6 inches. So I know it will slide right in there nice if I can get it open. There we go. There we go. And remember, we do not want to glue down our 1/8 inch there. So we want to stay just before our score line there at our 1/2 inch. All right. Give that a good press. And then that will be just like that. Okay. Perfect. So now for these are going to be 2 pockets, pocket flips. Okay. So let me see what we got here. So this one, these are going to flip from this side like this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and round my corners on this. All right. These are 7.5 inches long by 4 3/4 high. On your 7.5 inch side, you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. Okay. And then we are going to have, I want to say, about 1/4 of an inch. So I probably will eyeball it. I want to say maybe like 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to eyeball it so they're kind of centered. All right. So let's go ahead and glue that 1/2 inch down. Let me see on my other one if I measured that out. I don't remember if I did or not. I think I did. All right. So about, we're going to come to that edge there. And I think I'm about 1/4 of an inch, I think. Right there. All right. Looks good. All right. And then this one is going to be about 1/4 of an inch, and then there'll be about 1/4 of an inch in between. So let's go ahead and glue this one down. I'm going to line up my edge there, eyeball it. That looks about right. There we go. All right. So this is going to flip out like this. Now, our next two pieces are 5 3/4 wide by 6 inches. Oh, 5 3/4 high by 6 inches wide, because they're going to go this way. Score 1/2 inch on each edge of your 5 3/4. Okay. These are going to get glued down like this. You're going to have about 1 inch at the top, and you're going to glue it down just before your score line of your 1/2 inch line there. Okay. So here, and we need to seal that up. It's a pocket. So then we have room for a little tag or something special that we want to put in there. Again, I'm going to stay away from my 1/2 inch edge. Drop down, match these up. I don't want to interfere with that at all. So there we go. All right. Okay. All right. So that's a pocket. I'm going to check that, check that. I'm going to get that up there like that. Okay. Adjust that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this one. And I think I do have part of 4-1 done, but we will continue, like I said, in the next video tutorial number 2, with the rest of the pages, because we're halfway through the pages. Okay, line this up. All right, flip, flip. All right. So that is, and these are the ones that I printed. These are on a little bit different cardstock than what I normally print on, but it's what I had on hand. So just wanted to show you that they're printed, that I printed them. This was not. This is one of the 2 sheets that I had. All right. So that is video tutorial number 1 for the Florida Vacation mini album. If you have not subscribed to my channel, if you click on the right hand subscribe button down in the corner there, you can subscribe to my channel. When the bell pops up, if you hit that, you can be notified each time I put up a new video. And these will probably be put up, I think about 2 a week, I'm guessing, not to keep it dragged out. So video number 2 will be put up in a couple days from this one. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you follow along, and like with all my mini albums, you do not have to use the same exact papers. You do not have to use the same exact theme. Pick what you like and what fits in your lifestyle. Till the next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.